Well, good evening, everybody, or lunchtime, where if you're across the pond. Hello, we're back in the Authors Lounge, and tonight we are going to be talking to the very fabulous Alex Brown. So let me see if I can find her. First, let's let her in with us, shall we? I hope you've all had a really good day. And there she is. I'm waving at her. Now, let's see. There she is. Hello, hello, hello. How lovely to see you.
And you, how are you?
Oh, it's the end of the day. No, it's been a good one. It's been a bit of a mad day in the old library today. So I've been running around a bit, but otherwise, yeah, it's been a gorgeous, gorgeous day. The sky is as blue can be here.
Oh, okay. Well, it's been really warm here. I'm on the south coast, and the sky is kind of like a purpley, orangey, pink colour. I can see it through my office window. It's it's lovely, isn't it? It's quite warm as well.
Oh, totally. I popped up to an event at Waterstones Piccadilly last night, and honestly, it was so hot in the middle of town.
Wow.
Coming out at 9 o'clock, I felt like it was back in July. It was
strange,
mad.
isn't it? How the weather's changing.
Yeah. Yes. Have you had all the sort of the winds and stuff on the south coast at the moment, or is it?
Yeah, we had an amazing thunderstorm last night with lots of thunder and lightning, and lost our power for a while. So we had a power cut for about 10 minutes or so, but thankfully it came back on.
Yeah, you can't really sort of handle it, can you, at this time? That's the last thing you need, isn't it?
No, I had mild panic this morning because I had to, when I came into my office to start writing, my Mac had died. I think it must have gone off in the power cut, and I couldn't work out how to get it back on. And then the mouse wasn't working, the keyboards, and my deadline is looming. It's the end of the month. Panic.
Okay, that is what you call a buttock clencher, isn't it?
Yeah. But it all worked out fine in the end. So I was sort of like, back writing about an hour or so later. So my husband managed to fix it. So yeah.
Oh gosh. So is this next year's book?
Yes, this is a book that's coming out in April next year. Yeah.
Wow. And is this first draft or edits?
Well, I edit as I go, so it's kind of sort of, it'll be a polished first draft. So I've got about 20,000 words left to write, so I need to get on with it.
You do. Is it going where you think it's going to go, or
I mean, I know what the story is. I've got it mapped out and everything. It's just a case of writing it now and trying not to deviate too much. If the characters decide to start doing something different, so going down a rabbit hole with something else, I've got to kind of be strict and keep the plot on track, and it should be fine. I've got to that kind of point now where it's kind of like a rush to the finish, because I know what's going to happen, so sometimes you can't write fast enough, so it's exciting, but I just got to keep my focus, and because of course I've started now to think of the next book after that, and then a passion project that I've got going as well. So I have to resist the urge to start getting involved in those other things and get this one finished. So.
Oh, excellent! You sound like every other author I talk to. You've got, there's one book, and then there's another one, and there's another one brewing in your head, and then there's something else that you really, really want to write.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know how you guys do it. I really don't. I just pick them apart.
Oh. But how lovely to work in a library, though. I mean, that's
yes,
lovely.
Yes, it is. It is gorgeous. Yes, it's one of the many things that I do. I think I call myself, I have a portfolio career these days. So yeah, I've been working for the libraries the last sort of five years or so now. But yeah, it's great. You know, it's great fun to capture people's imagination and to recommend books. And as soon as yours arrived, I was like, no, I know exactly who needs to read that. So off it went.
Oh, well, I
Yeah.
hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, so let's dive straight in, shall you?
Okay.
So we're going to take you back to talking about Bring Me Sunshine, which immediately I started singing in my head. Was that a nod to Eric and Ernie?
Not to Eric and Ernie,
No.
but there's various versions of the song. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's quite an evocative title,
Yes.
and you know, and I wanted it to be a sunshine, holiday, uplifting,
Yeah.
kind of, you know what you're going to get, because of the Shirley Valentine Mamma Mia theme.
Yes.
I thought, well, we thought that, you know, Bring Me Sunshine really kind of captured that.
Oh, it did perfectly, and then it
yeah.
is a great big bucket of sunshine. This book, you can sort of feel it coming off the pages at you. It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
gorgeous. So, do you want to just tell everybody who hasn't read it, and how dare they very not, the bare bones of what happens?
Yes, without giving any spoilers away.
Yes, no spoilers. Yes.
Which sometimes it's hard to do, so I'll do my best. Well,
okay.
Primarily it's the story of Gina, who's the main character, and she's been married for 27 years to her husband Colin. She's at a point in her life where her marriage is she's very unhappy, and she wants to let's go back a bit. She's been working as a cleaner to try and raise the money for her kind of dream holiday that she's been thinking of for many years, and she's saved up enough money to book this holiday back to a Greek island where she used to go as a child with her mum, and she has really fond memories of that time. And her mum since died when Gina was in her late teens, and so she wants to, as a kind of sort of an attempt to rejuvenate her marriage and try and bring some passion and energy back into it, she books this holiday for her and her husband. Her husband, who we all find out is the villain, he lets her down at the last minute. And with a lame excuse about some kind of work commitment, and so feeling very let down and a bit broken-hearted as well. But one of the women that she cleans for is adamant, don't let this put you down. So it's kind of, and she said, you must still go on the holiday, and she helps her to get a refund on Colin's part of the holiday. And so Gina basically decides to travel solo and go and have a time of her life, and have a good old think about things, and decide, does she actually want to stay in this marriage with Colin? And Colin, kind of put out about it, says, well, if you're going to go, then we might as well have a trial separation. And so she goes, and leaves the classic Shirley Valentine note on the fridge saying, "Gone to Greece." So poor Gina goes off on this holiday. She arrives there feeling out of her depth, and what on earth has she done? She's here on her own. She's led quite a kind of quiet, sheltered, kind of reclusive life to that point, mainly kind of coerced and suppressed by Colin.
Yes, I thought that was a really interesting angle, because you don't always see it, especially in the more, we'll call them romance, but but in these books. But that's one of the subjects I thought, oh, that's a brave angle to go down. So
absolutely,
you, as I say, you don't see it. What kind of research did you do for that?
Well, I mean, I'm a big kind of reality TV, documentary, true crime TV program addict. I love them, and I find them really interesting and useful
Mm.
for getting ideas.
Yeah.
You know, I love characterization and seeing how different characters operate, and so the idea came from a program I watched a few years back, and I always store up obviously all this information
Yeah.
about women who'd been in coercive, controlling relationships, and how often they didn't realise until a certain point, and then kind of. So I think when Gina goes on this holiday, she doesn't actually realise until she's free from that situation, and she meets two other women who are travelling solo, Dee Dee and Rosie, and the three of them form a friendship, and so then Gina becomes enlightened to
what the heck's been going on. I know.
Yeah.
I mean, Colin and his mother together,
Yes,
are quite a pair, aren't they? Were they in a sort of twisted fashion? Were they fun to write?
I love writing the demons. In all 16 of my books, there is always a villain or a demon, and they're the most fun characters to write.
Yeah, he is a smarmy what's it. He really
absolutely. And but then there has to be some light with the dark as well.
Absolutely.
So there is a scene where Gina recalls like the early years of her marriage, and and how in love with Colin she was, and depending on which lens you look at that through, it's was he manipulating her and love bombing her at the start, or was he just a genuinely nice guy, and and things have gone kind of wrong for them both, and they've both become disillusioned with life, and so I thought it was important to show that there was some attraction for Gina at the start, and as well that she was in quite a vulnerable place as well, because she met Colin soon after her mum had died, and so she didn't have any family. She was on her own, and she had kind of sort of given up her art course that she was doing, so she was grieving, and so she was Colin came along at the right time for her, and plus she wanted because in the book Colin and his mum move into her house quite quickly.
They do. They know a good thing when they've seen it, don't they?
Absolutely. You see, so again, it's depending which lens you look at that through. Gina wanted them to move in. She felt sorry for Colin's mum because she just had a hysterectomy and struggling with her health, and she wanted to be kind and look after her. And it appealed to her to have Colin and his mum so they could be a family, and which is what Gina wanted at the time. And then slowly over the years,
it all goes south. It does. But what I liked about Gina's employer, and forgive me, her name has just gone straight out of my head. Anne, thank you. Yeah, but how you beautifully illustrate women supporting women in the way that Anne says, you gotta go, you have to do this, and us as small business owners and entrepreneurs in our own right, to have that support and fellowship from other women. I thought, again, another really strong theme that I think you write beautifully about, Alex.
Oh, thank you. I really wanted that to shine through. The story, yes, it's a romance. It's an enduring love story, because obviously there's the Gina with her holiday romance from her teen years, but essentially it's a female friendship, and there's always female friendships in my books, and I love writing that. And sometimes those relationships can become more important sometimes than the romantic relationship.
Oh, hugely. I think I mean, I don't know how you feel. I mean, I read a lot of romance, as you probably gathered, but what I love is it's not just about the love story. It's the love story to yourself, it's the love story to your friends, it's your love story to your family. And ultimately you see a lot of this, but female friendship is so beautifully drawn and so important. do you think, I've been talking to a lot of authors, and they're talking about the relevance and sort of showing women, reflecting modern day woman in what you write now, and that's sort of what's boosting the sales and all kinds of stuff that's happening, the boom that's going on in the romance industry. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think female friendship is so important. It's so important. I mean, it's an old cliche, isn't it, that boys or men or women or whatever your preference,
yes,
come and go, but really good solid friendships can last a lifetime.
Absolutely. Yes.
And yeah, so I think I mean, I have several really close female friends who I've known for years, and we've been through so much together, and I would do anything for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm pretty certain they would for me too.
Oh, hugely. I've got my 3 a.m. club, and there's the girls I lived with at university. I'm still incredibly close to them, and maybe 2 or 3 others, but that's the inner circle. And I know that any of us could phone each other at 3 a.m. and we'd all roll out of bed in our pajamas, and that would be that. And
absolutely.
It's Thelma and Louise, ride or die, basically, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, 100%, absolutely. That. So I really wanted that to come through in this story of the friendship that forms. Three strangers, they're each traveling solo, and they come together and support each other, and primarily support Gina at this stage in her life.
Yeah, Gina. No, she reminds me of me probably about or certainly 2 or 3 years ago. As she sort of started to go through menopause and all of that sort of stuff, and you do lose yourself, don't you, a bit? It's not easy.
No, I mean, Gina's 49, and and I wanted to also to put some humour into that. I mean, there's that scene where she arrives at the hotel, and and she's got she's like panically wiping her sweaty top lip, and she's got dried up tissue on there, and then is really embarrassed about it because this really handsome guy on the reception is really flattering, and she's not used to that. She's not had any kind of sort of attention, certainly not from Colin.
No.
But and then she sort of like forgets her own name.
Definitely done that.
Yeah, absolutely. Those things have happened to me and to my friends. When you sort of like someone says, "Oh, yeah, what's your name?" I think, "Well, your date of birth." And I was like, couldn't remember it.
Sometime in the past, I'm sure I was born, but can't tell me when. No, and again, because you write about those real things, people have an emotional reaction to your writing, and therefore, that's why you've got so many loyal readers.
Well, I like to I like to think that my readers see a bit of themselves in the characters, that they're relatable, that they're ordinary women, sometimes doing extraordinary things sometimes, or they're in extraordinary situations, and and how do they react? How would any of us deal with those situations? So
I definitely run for the hills, and if I'd been caught with stuff all over. But what I do love is how easily Gina, Dee Dee and Rosie all just sort of bond. Let's give them a couple of cocktails and they're off. Which I think actually, when you look at solo travelers, I mean, I've traveled solo many times, on my excursions, but you do talk to anybody. When did you go for like a research trip to Greece?
I have been to Greece, yes. Been to Mykonos, but I didn't go on my own. I must admit, okay. I didn't travel solo.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I've never really travelled solo. It's not. Mind you saying that, that's not completely true. I did. I used to work in Spain for a few years, when I was like in my early 20s, and I used to commute weekly. And
Wow.
I worked, yeah, I was working as a consultant, setting up call centres at the time. Anyway,
Okay.
cut a long story short,
Yeah.
I used to travel there, every week on my own,
Yeah.
yeah, it's true what you were saying, that you do meet people. You speak to people on the flights and in the
Yeah.
hotel. Yeah, so yeah, maybe we should try that again.
Yeah, I highly recommend it
Yeah,
actually. It pushes you outside your comfort
yeah.
zones.
I quite fancy a little
Yeah.
holiday by myself and leave my husband and 2 children at home.
Stock the freezer up and stick a note on the fridge and off you go.
Yeah, well, to be fair, my husband does a lot of the cooking, so they'd survive. They'd be
They
fine.
won't starve, you'll be fine.
Absolutely.
That's what we love. What else have I written down? The power of skinny dipping.
Oh, yes,
Oh.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
and of course the handsome love interest happens to be strolling along the beach at the exact moment that Gina is walking back towards the rock where she's left her clothes.
But yeah, no, it is all. Have you been skinny dipping?
I have, yes, but no, not properly skinny dipping. It was really kind of sort of getting quick, swim around for a bit without like a swimming costume on, and then kind of panic and like because there's people coming. Yeah,
It's liberating.
yes, yeah,
Really is.
yeah. But it's certainly refreshing.
Oh, very much.
Especially in the sea that we have here on the south coast, which is very cold.
Oh my goodness, yeah, no, thank you. No, that you're very brave if you're going and off the south coast. No, that's awesome. No, what else did I say? So Dee Dee and Rosie really are beacons. I've put down the beacons and the challenges of middle age, really.
Yeah.
As because Dee Dee is slightly older again, isn't she? Yeah.
Yeah.
And she, I think, definitely fulfills the big sister role. So
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's kind of the wise woman there to kind of sort of guide and share her experience. There's a scene where she gives Gina and Rosie a bit of a lecture, really, about, do you want to put up feeling this way, or do you want to do something about it? And gives them the number for her gynecologist so they can speak to say, like, talk about HRT if that's the route they want to go down, or whatever. So but yeah, so yeah, Dee Dee is in Bring Me Sunshine. I think she's 68 or 69, so she's late 60s.
Yeah, she's late. Yes.
Yeah. So she's sort of she's quite a big character, confident, and in a good place where she is in her life. And the reason why I'm talking more about Dee Dee is because the next book that I'm writing at the moment is Dee Dee's story.
I was like, yes.
Yeah, which is going to be called Wish You Were Here. So and that's coming out in April. And so then so there's more of Dee Dee's story of so she's got a big birthday approaching, her 70th, and and all that involves. So, but anyway, we'll get back to Bring Me Sunshine. So I don't want to give too much.
Park Dee Dee for a minute.
Yeah.
I loved Dee Dee's fashion choices. I need to see most of those.
Yes.
Of her outfits, they were awesome.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Rosie, because Rosie seemed to be, for me, slightly more bouncy.
Yes.
Is that
Yes, Rosie is someone who wears a jolly cape, who is bubbly, well-meaning, wants to look after everyone, organise everyone, make them have their happy ever after. She's a wedding and events planner, so it's her job to make sure people are happy, and that her bride has the dream wedding and everyone's happy and all the rest of it. So and the book that's coming after next year is going to be Rosie's story. So there will be sort of scratching below the surface of yeah, digging more into Rosie's character.
Very much so. Yes, I thought there's lots of layers in here. There's reasons why.
Yes.
And we'll oh, that's fine. If we'll get to them, then that's
Yeah.
a good one. That is a good one. What else have I done? But then, so Gina, bless her, she's gone out there. She's made some friends. She's jumped around in the water with no clothes on. She's then, what I love is started to pick up herself.
Yeah.
It's almost like she's shed all of her skin. She shed Colin. She's got rid of all of that, and she starts to rebuild. And what I really liked about Gina is that she does it in a creative way. So she picks up her paintings again, doesn't she?
Yeah. She has a passion for art, something that she always loved as in her younger years, and actually went to art college, and then Colin kind of brought that to her head because she was grieving and she had a lot to deal with, and the classic kind of controlling, isolate her, you know, so she's home all the time, and yeah, so that was a big regret for her, and she comes to see that that she can do that again, reluctantly at first because she's nervous, and you know, she's finding her confidence again. But Dee Dee, in her classic stoic, come on, let's get on with it style, kind of signs them up for the art class on the beach. When Dee Dee turns up with her her artist in residence outfits with her turban, etc. It's just, I always had this vision of painting on the beach. So it's a lot of fun, and yeah, and that's when Gina realised, you know, she's still a great artist, incredibly creative, and she paints this amazing sunset picture, and yes, and then has a moment with the art teacher. Who, no spoilers, but no, yes, sorry. So yeah, the art teacher, Gina has quite a a spicy moment in her mind, I think. It's the best way we can describe what happens there.
But for Gina, who hasn't basically had that side of her shut down completely over the years,
yes,
you know, suddenly be reawakened and reignited,
yes,
it is possibly quite overwhelming. You know, if you've shrunk yourself down to such a tiny version of you, you know, it's like those you know, those flannels that you get that are like little tiny cubes.
Yes, and then when you put them in water,
and then suddenly they reabsorb and rehydrate and then become the most beautiful things. That's very much what I felt with Gina. You know, she is self-aware by this point. I'd say, you know, the girl is certainly taking the blinkers off her, and who wouldn't be slightly nervous about it all? Because it's a big old world when you get going again, isn't it, really? Especially when you're heading up to the big 5-0.
Yes.
I was sort of, you either jump, I've certainly, with my friends, you know, we've either gone on to the you know, 50 and whatever, you know, lift up your skirts and off you go kind of thing. Well, you've got to grab life by the horns, because this is not a dress rehearsal, is it?
No, that's right. Yes. And got to make the most of it, because time flies, I think, the older you get. Although I think conversations I've had, and certainly for myself, conversations I've had with other women around the same age, is that in my head, and I think I mentioned this in Bring Me Sunshine, I think Dee Dee says that in her head she still feels that she's like in her 30s, even though she's in her late 60s.
Absolutely.
So but then she's sort of come out the other side of it, and I think for Gina and Rosie, certainly, you know, late 40s, and they're kind of sort of in the thick of perimenopause, and as you say, it's kind of sort of, for Gina certainly, this is sort of awakening, and she's sort of coming out of this fog that she's been in, and it was really lovely to write Gina's character.
Yeah.
And yeah, and of course there's all the villains always get their comeuppance at the end. So without giving any spoilers, the true extent of Colin's control is revealed. And yeah, and then
dealt with.
It's dealt with. Yeah, and it's Gina that does that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's, again, it gives her closure. It gives her, you know, exactly what she needs at this time. Yes. It's her decision. It's her life. It's her path.
Yes.
And whoever,
and she owns it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And gets her happy ever after. I mean, you know, all my books have the, you know, the happy ending, the resolution. So that's not a spoiler. You know, if readers will know that of course Gina is going to get her happy ever after. So you know, the story is how she goes from the awful place she's in at the start to the end, where it all comes good for her.
It does. It's her. Yes, it's the right happy ever after for her at this time.
Yes. Although I have had a number of readers say that they love the ending, but they weren't sure which way it was going to go. Because obviously there's more than one possibility.
There is a fork in the road.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. No. What I liked as well was, can we talk about Gina's business acumen as well? It's, you know, again, she sort of wakes up on that front as well, doesn't she? She's not just a lowly cleaner. She, you know, she is a proper businesswoman, and she does let that fly too, doesn't she?
Yeah, and I think I felt it important as well. I think I mentioned it early on in the story that yes, Gina's a cleaner, and when she first kind of reveals this in a conversation with Dee Dee, because up until that point Gina has kind of sort of lived a bit of, she's presented herself as a sort of, she's on holiday, so she can kind of be who she wants to be. And then when she reveals that she's a cleaner, she has a moment of concern that she'll be judged for that. So I made a point of putting in there that, you know, Dee Dee is very complimentary of Gina's choices, and so Gina feels validated. And there's a line where Gina says that she always makes sure she gets paid fairly for the work she does. So there's that hint of her business acumen, and then obviously that's revealed further on when you know, she starts thinking about what she can do with her life. You know, she plans to enroll back in art college when she comes back from the holiday, and then we have when she meets up with the woman who runs the holiday villas where she used to stay as a child with her mum. And then that's another female relationship where she's this elderly woman who's struggling, can't keep up with you know, running the holiday business. So then Gina helps her to, you know, to revitalize things. And I don't want to give too many spoilers of what happened.
No.
Especially at the end.
No, I'm just sort of saying, but no, she really does sort of swing into action. I loved the tie back to her mum as well. Is that too much of a spoiler?
No, I don't think so. I think because you know, Gina has really fond memories of that happy time in her life where she was there with her mum, and she realises when she's on the island she feels close to her mum there. She never really grieved the death of her mum, and so it's an opportunity for that. And I think she finds a peace, doesn't she? She goes to some of the places where, you know, she went with her mum, and she kind of retrace those footsteps of her younger years. And
it's the photograph though that she finds.
Yes,
because
that
absolutely brought a real lump to my throat, that one.
I got emotional while I was writing it, actually, because because she didn't have any photos of her mum, just one of kind of like a side view. Yeah, and they got I think all her photo albums have got damaged, or
Colin.
I think Colin had done something.
Put them somewhere.
Yeah. So I thought, you know, how sad not to. She hasn't kind of got, you know, and you know, her mental image of her mum had faded, so she didn't have any memory. So yeah, then to have the photos and
hugely important. But what I again is the way that you use location. So as you say, location is so evocative. And Gina, as you say, she went back, she visits some of the places where you know, her and her mum went, and it just brings back all those beautiful memories and feelings. And again, it puts Gina back together, you know, piece by piece. We're watching a woman rebuild herself, and she's using absolutely everything around her. She's using the natural world, she's using her own creativity, she's using the power of female friendship to do so. But you know, location, I always think in any of these any books, is a character of itself. Did you feel that way about Grease?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I wanted to make the location you know, kind of a character in itself. And there was a scene at the start when Gina is in her hotel room and she walks out onto the balcony, and it's a special moment for her. And we actually used that on the front cover. You know, this is the scene where my editor was discussing the cover with the cover designer. That this is that moment when Gina is on the balcony, kind of opening her arms to the Greek islands that means so much to her. It's almost like as if she's come full circle back to that teenage girl the last time she was there. It's kind of welcoming her back, and it's restorative.
Oh, so it's like a really good ouzo, isn't it? Really, you know, you've got to have a full shot of Greece. I haven't been for a long time, but I do remember island hopping when I was a lot younger.
The you know, the beautiful beaches and the sunsets, and just the, you know, the atmosphere, the scents, everything is all consuming. So, and that really does revitalize her. And
absolutely, it's a cracker. I absolutely adored it. I really did. You know, as you know, you read and you get all this beautiful sort of sunshine, as I say, coming off the pages at you. But once you start digging down, as I say, you know, watching Gina sort of stand up straight again, you know, which is something I think probably a lot of women our age do. You know, you go through it all, and then you suddenly stand up and go, right, okay, who am I? What am I going to do for the next 10 years? You know, here we go.
Sort of wade through that fog and think, oh, actually, there's life still to come.
Definitely life in this old.
I think so I think it's Gina is quite typical, I think, of lots of women. So it's, and I love writing great locations. You know, with the 3 postcard books that came before, they were a joy to write, with Capri and Paris and Italy. It's really important, I think, to kind of create that sense of place, and so that so you can escape, because that's for lots of us, reading is escaping to a different place.
Absolutely. You know, what better to do on a dark, you know, afternoon, especially now the nights are drawing in. You know, you need it. You need that bolt of serotonin, whether it's in the, you know, in the heart, or you know, in your face. I think it is so important. But again, as I said before, I still think it's hugely important that you see yourself in a book. If you reflect normal women, normal people going through all of this, then, you know, again, you can't help but immerse yourself
Mm.
completely, because you identify with that character so wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
You can't help but buckle up and go along with the ride, and it brings you joy, I think.
And some reflection too, and yeah, and maybe kind of, you know, I have messages from readers.
Yeah.
You know, I had 2 messages this week, both from men actually.
Oh, wow.
Who really enjoyed. One was writing about, hadn't read Bring Me Sunshine, and another one was had read another book, Postcard from Paris.
Yeah.
And yeah, both saying that the escapism and the relatability and thinking about the situations, and yeah, I had another message from a reader a few weeks ago, a woman who I identified a lot with Gina's story,
Mm-hmm.
and her own marriage, and had kind of sort of, you know, and I think had drawn some courage from reading Bring Me Sunshine. So that was yeah, that was a really special message to receive. So
it's the power of writing, Alex. It's the power of books.
Yeah,
it's what they help people do.
Yeah,
you know,
take courage
and off you go. It's a very special thing that people who create stories do. Don't ever underestimate the power of a book at all. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
No.
It's special. You get that kind of feedback and know that you've made a difference to someone with something that you've like made up that's come out of your head.
That's astonishing. So can you tell us where we're going next with Dee Dee in the world?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah, Wish You Were Here is set. It's got 2 multi-location. It's Dee Dee's got a big birthday approaching, and she's going off to New York, of course, to celebrate her birthday.
Yes.
And of course Rosie and Gina are coming along as well to celebrate.
Yeah.
And so it's 2 locations, New York and the Hamptons. And there's a kind of sort of secluded kind of beach, not in the kind of like the main where all the kind of mega mansions are. It's more kind of sort of secluded area of the Hamptons. So thinking sand dunes and sunshine, and again, at first what seems a fun birthday kind of story, obviously there's going to be some much deeper layers to it. So I don't really want to say anymore.
No, that's fine. Well, I was in New York at Easter, and went basically through a tropical a storm and then the earthquake. That was good.
Oh gosh. That was scary.
Well, I was in the New York Public Library at the time of the earthquake. Did not feel a thing.
Oh.
So yeah, I've been in the Hamptons, yes, possibly. But
yes, possibly, yes, yeah. If you're in like a wooden weatherboard beach house on a remote beach somewhere, you might have felt it.
But oh no, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. I love reading sort of, you know, books with dual locations that you can sort of bounce around. So
yeah,
excellent. So that is next April. Did you say?
I think it's April the 10th. It's the publication day.
Excellent. Yeah. So will you come back into the lounge with us and talk to us more about Dee Dee?
I'd love to. Really love to. Yeah. Yeah. I've really enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you. Well, does anybody have any questions? I haven't got any more written down on mine. I don't know whether I can see on. Oh, there's lots of waving, which is marvellous. Have you got any more questions? Did anybody send you any questions, Alex, at all?
Gosh, I don't know.
No.
Someone did ask me a question. Oh, they did, and I can't remember what it was. I'm so sorry.
Oh.
If you were the person that sent me, if you messaged me with a question, because I can't see my messages at the moment, then yes, I will find out and answer later.
Okay, that's great. Well, listen, Alex, I've had an absolute ball talking to you. I really have. You've been a complete tonic for the end of the day. It's been brilliant.
Oh, someone has put a question up here.
I'd like to know what the award is behind
The
you.
Award? Oh, I don't know. Do I have an award behind me?
Or is it your reed diffuser?
I have a reed diffuser on the shelf. Yeah, I mean, these are all mostly foreign editions of my books that
you have
on the bookcase there.
Bookshelves.
They're tidy, aren't they?
They are very tidy.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I like to play libraries, you see, or bookshops.
Oh dear, yes. Oh right. Oh, hello, Rachel. She's saying, Rachel is waving hello to one of her favourite writer friends.
Is that
can you ask?
Rachel Brimble?
It is Mrs. Brimble, yes.
Oh,
yes.
hi, Rachel.
Lounge soon. Can you ask Alex if she's actually been to the Hamptons?
Yes. Many years ago.
Yeah.
Yes. A fleeting visit.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. And I've been to New York as well. And cried when I had to leave because I loved it so much and didn't want to come home.
Yeah, it has that effect on you. Most definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Rachel, I'm looking forward to it. Oh, right, it's on her bucket list.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No. Well, Alex, I wish you all the success with Bring Me Sunshine. It is an absolute gorgeous, gorgeous read. I adored it. Sure, lots and lots of other people are going to, especially if it's a dark, horrible day in the UK and you need some sunshine. You can't go better than this book. And we will look forward to seeing you April for the next instalment.
Thank you.
I will book you straight back in.
I look forward to it. And,
we will carry.
I shall make a note of questions and be more organised next time.
Yeah, it is what it is. Right, enjoy your evening, everybody. And I'm just trying to think who's next in the lounge. The next lady next week, I think we have Elizabeth Drummond talking to us about the book The House Sitter. So do join in and look out for that one. But for now, Alex, my love, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
That's all right.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
We will talk to you all very soon. Bye, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.